So the last one we're going to do together today is number 7 on page 361, and it's a story problem, so we have to be careful readers. The Masters family financed a computer that's going to cost $1,200. If the interest rate is 19%, how much will the family owe for the computer after 1 month if no payments are made? So they're asking what the total cost is if they don't make any payments. How do I find the total? The total is the amount of the computer. And what else? Ooh, nope. If it's the total amount that it's going to cost and I don't make any payments, it's the amount of the computer and it's the interest. Because remember, even if you don't pay, the interest still accumulates. That means you still keep adding on interest. That's why people get in financial trouble. This chapter is really important about your life. Okay, so the amount of the computer plus the interest is the total. The amount of the computer plus the interest is the total. Do we know the amount of the computer? That costs $1,200. Do we know the interest? Ooh, is that the interest? Is that the amount of money? That's the interest rate. Is that the amount of money? How do we find the interest? How do we find the interest? How do we find simple interest? What have we been doing? Emma. We have to do all of this to find the interest. We have to do all of this to find that value. Okay, so to find out what the interest is, what is the principal? What's the amount of money we're borrowing? What's the amount of money we're borrowing? What does it say? It's $1,200 because it's the amount of the computer. What is our rate? What is the rate that they want us to borrow at? 19%. Oh, 9% was a lot. 19%. That's crazy. Am I going to put 19 in here? 0.19. What's the time? Is that in years? It's in months. How many months? Just 1 month. How many months are in a year? So what am I going to put here? 1/12. I don't know what the decimal is for 1/12. How could I figure that out? No, not 12 divided by 1 divided by 12, because this is the part that we're borrowing over how many total are in a year. 0.083 with a line over it. What questions do you have about where those numbers came from? Not even that one? I'm just going to leave that one in my calculator. Remember, multiplication's commutative. I can do them in any order. So I'm going to leave that number in, and then I'm going to multiply by 0.19, and then I'm going to multiply by 1,200. I'm just going to go in reverse order because the commutative property says I can. And I get what? 19. It doesn't say $19. How'd you get $19? Ah, we have to round. We have to round here first, right? That becomes 0, then that becomes 0, then that becomes...
Yeah, mine can be rounded for me.
And it did. Some of your calculators may have, depending on what mode it's in. So I get $19. Is that my answer, $19?
No.
Add it to what? Ah. I have to add it to my initial amount right here. So how much do we owe if we don't pay at all? $1,219.